Hello and welcome to the Seahawks podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz, and I am joined by a couple of my good buddies coming in from Phillipsburg, Montana. We've got Mr. Adam Emmert, and from all the way in Connecticut, Clinton Bonner. Clinton, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, guys. I'm 3 hours ahead of you. So all this news that's breaking, you'll get it 2 hours ahead of you. You'll get it in about 2 hours. There's a lot of Seahawks news to go over on day one of training camp. And I'm excited to be talking about real Seahawks news. How about you, Adam?
Oh, man, I am so fired up. Beginning of football, we get to talk about actual things. This is a lot of fun. And like you said, Clinton, they kicked it off with a bunch of news that we can cover here that they brought out here for the first day of training camp. And it's like football Christmas, and I'm excited about it.
We do get started with football Christmas initially, and then we have this whole waiting period leading up to the season where it's, I don't know how to describe that part of football, but it's like you don't want the bad news. Like, we get all the good news up front, and then it's like there's nothing but bad news that we can get over the next few weeks before the season starts. I don't enjoy that part of it, but at least we have football. Football's back.
Yes, football is back. And I definitely want to remind folks, right? So you're out there. We got a bunch of folks already joining us. Hey, hit the likes, hit the subscribe skis, as Adam would call it, right on there. So on YouTube, subscribe, get out there. Also, hey, there, Adam and Mr. Phil put out an awesome episode pretty recently there, Brandon. Year 2 slump or jump. Did you get a chance to listen in for that yet?
I did. I listened to Slump or Jump, and a really good episode. If you guys have not yet subscribed to For the Hawkra, look for that on the Believe Podcast Network, or of course you can get it right here on YouTube. We are going live on YouTube, and I know we are live on YouTube because I see a lot of familiar names here joining us. I see Amy Holmes in the chat. We got R Ryan 911. We got Shane Turner Acoustic. We got the Snail. We've got Corey Coolman says, please keep Connor Williams in town. The Niners would love to have him at center. We got the Connor Williams news to talk about. We've got live executive producer R Ryan 911 with a $9.99 super chat. The first one of this 2024 season, kicking us off, saying football is back. Live shows are back. Let's go. We've got Shane Turner Acoustic chipping in at $2.99. I want to say Australian when it has the A in front of it.
Maybe Austrian, maybe.
Yeah,
probably
maybe.
Australian.
We got Anthony joining us. We've got Ender. So yeah,
Nice.
hit the like button if you are joining us live. And this is fun. I'm happy to be back and seeing all these active people in chat.
Absolutely. I think everybody was just waiting to get back here for football season. And first day of camp, like we said, a lot of news. Where do you guys want to start? Julian Love?
We can start off with Julian Love, because that was the news that broke from Adam Schefter after the first day of practice concluded. Pro Bowl safety, Julian Love, 3-year, $36 million extension. We saw him highlighted in the NFL Top 100, which was nice to see him, along with a couple of other Seahawks getting things kicked off. A little bit low for some of these Seahawks for me. But Julian Love being recognized among his peers and then being recognized by the front office with a 3-year, $36 million extension should free up some cap space. I think he was scheduled to make $8 million. Well, it was a cap hit of $8 million. He had his $5 million he was set to earn, along with a $2.4 million signing bonus that came with his 2-year deal that he signed with the Seahawks not too long ago. Had a roster bonus in there that got him up to 8. But generally, when they make moves like this, it brings down that cap number a little bit. And so not only that, but we've got about 4 more years of Julian Love, Adam.
Absolutely. Good old Swiss Army knife back there at safety. He's become a player that I think we all really enjoy watching, in an impact player for sure, and a younger guy. And you mentioned the cap part of it with them re-signing, and usually that brings the cap number down. Maybe that parlays into them, I don't know, spending a little money on the offensive line, Clinton.
Yeah, I like the breadcrumbs you're laying out. I do want to talk about Love before we perhaps foreshadow where that money might be spent. Like you said, Swiss Army, and I like this is kind of besides Leo, of course, which was like priority number one, which was taken care of before this all got going. Love this being day one, by the way. Kind of feels like it's on purpose, like if you're structuring things and you're orchestrating things, you get people fired up, and then this comes out right after. Feels nicely put together if you're asking a marketing guy. I like the fact that Macdonald knows what he has in him and that he's extremely versatile. So when we got multiple safeties out there, when we have the dime packages out there, Julian Love is just one of those dudes now for years, several years. Macdonald and Dirty can do what they want with him in that being multiple way. Love is just he's a very likable, solid player. I know some people will get on PFF grades one way or the other. I just think he's a good football player. I like the way he plays football. I like his attitude, and I like that he's locked up, and I like that we probably freed up some cap space. So it's just, to me, check. All good things, Brandon. And now, what do we think? How much money? Talk about the money, Brandon. How much do you think we're freeing up with this Julian Love extension?
It's so tough with only having that initial $36 million number because, right. And so we have to try and massage it out, I suppose, a little bit. He's 27 years old. He was going to be a free agent going into 2025. And generally when the Seahawks do this, they keep their cap number. They'll knock down their base pay and balance that out with the signing bonus. So he could go down to where his base pay is essentially the minimum. And then they'll bump up that signing bonus. So that would add, I'm trying to do this on the fly. I did not prepare fully to answer this question before you asked it, Clinton.
Armchair GM.
Yeah. 36. But doing the math, that's 12 million a year. You figure that a good portion of that's going to be a signing bonus then that's spread over 4 years. Let's say they do 26 million over 4 years. That would be what, roughly $6 to $7 million of bonus money a year.
Yep.
And then so that would actually keep his cap hit. If they did that, then his cap hit would not move a lot. So you'd have to expect the bonus to be smaller than that.
Well, to help you out, Corey's got his guess at least here. I'm thinking it's a guess because he put the dash there. So maybe, and the question mark, that might be the biggest hint. He's saying maybe 35 million per year, which
that would fit into that idea of being able to sign a depth piece on the offensive line, perhaps. So I'm trying to go through this in my mind. Maybe I'll think about it some more as we go through here. But we've got Ender coming in with a $5 super chat saying Love is good and like a younger Diggs, and he chased down Spoon.
We like that math, I think, there, Adam.
Interesting that he brings up Spoon when talking about Julian Love, because the big thing with Julian Love, right, is the versatility. We've talked about that, and we've talked about the versatility of Spoon. And are either of those guys as versatile and big time player as Kyle Hamilton was for Baltimore? Well, I don't know. They haven't been quite to this point in their career, but man, the combination of the two of them kind of utilized in that multiple way that Coach Mike talks about, I think it could be awesome, man. And it's super exciting to think about.
Well, and we started to see a little bit of that even last year before Mike Macdonald came in. We saw a rotation of Diggs at free safety or Love at free safety. We even saw Spoon playing in that free safety type role. So they rotated, even before Macdonald got here, they rotated those three guys. They were able to play those different positions. So I think it's not too difficult to see them continuing to do more of the same, except, instead of Diggs being here, they work in the new guy from Jacksonville.
100%. We have from Shane from Down Under. We did confirm, asking where can we watch training camp stuff online. I don't think the answer is anywhere. I mean, Macdonald put out, or the Seahawks put out, that memorandum that was like, you could come to training camp, but even at training camp, they're like, don't even take out your phone. Like literally, like no pictures while we're practicing, like no videos. And they're like, they used something to be like, we want you to be in the flow with us. We want you to be present.
In the moment.
Yeah, be in the moment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like what you tell your kids at the dinner table. No phones at the dinner table. We want you to be present for a family dinner.
That's it. That's it. I mean, and the real reason, of course, is they don't want secrets getting out, right? They don't want somebody taping the darn thing, and Bill Belichick in the back stands, rolling the 8mm, and getting the scoop on our team. It's so, to answer the question, I don't think there is live streams like they've had in years past. In fact, it looks like it's going to be quite a bit more closed down in terms of how much availability of that kind of media we might see this entire training camp. That's at least what it seems to be for me there, Brandon.
It does. And it is a bit of a bummer for those of us who don't get to attend live. But I mean, Adam, how much did you get out of those, really, watching those live?
Oh, just a warm fuzzy, and that was about it. That's what I would get out of it. Just seeing guys running around and doing football things was always fun. But Masvidal put out one of his videos here just before we hopped on, and it's guys doing warm-ups, and it's like, well, okay, I don't know exactly what you take out of that, but
that's what we got on the live feed.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's the guys running through the tire drill. There's guys that are stretching over in that part of the field. And then once the cameras went turned off, then they went to the real practice. But
yeah, it changed a lot over the years, because I remember early on, especially when Russ first came in, like you actually got to see quite a bit in watching that for hours at a time and getting pretty excited about it. But Mike Macdonald wanting to keep a little bit tighter lid on the thing and not give away any of the trade secrets here that they're coming in with this season. And look, one of their bigger advantages that they have this year is, especially early on, is nobody really knows what this team is going to look like and what they're going to do and who's going to play where and all of that stuff. So keep that element of surprise. It's probably a good strategic move.
Yeah, coaches love that element of surprise stuff. We even heard Sean Payton today asked about who's going to be the quarterback there in Denver with the Seahawks coming up at the start of the season. And Sean Payton just said whichever quarterback helps us beat the Seahawks. So not naming a starting quarterback, but we all know it's Bo Nix.
Yeah, so coy there, Sean. As the years wear on, I get more and more like, yeah, that guy. Not a huge fan. I am a fan, though, boys. I'm a fan of some of the injury news that broke, I think, in a positive way for some players that we don't really know quite well yet. So, Adam, what injury news had you? Let's go with the excited stuff first. What'd you like that you heard today?
Sure. I think this is the biggest story of today, and that's just that Baker and Dotson were both off the PUP list and out there practicing, weren't able to participate in any of the spring stuff, and at a position group that I think we all have concern about, inside linebacker being, one of the thinner spots. And not only that, but I mean, we're so used to having either Brooks or Wagner there in the middle year in, year out. And it's felt a little jarring going into this year, not really knowing what's going to happen. And knowing that those two guys are ready to rock and ready to go, that really does make me feel a lot better, because some of the things you're hearing specifically about Baker, just like, well, yeah, he's got the one injury and then he's got a couple other lower leg things and and it started to add up. And you're like, holy smokes, how many injuries does this dude have? But sounds like 0 now. He's ready to go. And I think that is a big deal for us going forward.
As we talk about some more of the personnel moves, the things that we saw coming out of practice, we've got Shane Turner Acoustic coming in saying, how does Adam feel about Kobe Bryant's potential at safety rather than corner, given his opinion of Bryant's tackling?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Kobe out there is that he just doesn't have the speed. And so when they put him in the slot, he didn't have the quicks in the short area quickness stuff. And he doesn't have the long speed to keep up with guys. And that really showed up for him. He needs the sideline as that extra defender that he can use his technique to kind of try to keep dudes pinned up against there if he's going to have at all any success. So the idea of him moving to safety, it doesn't excite me, but I don't know about you, Clinton.
Well, I don't think it's the tackling per se. That is his challenge. It's the on-timeness, like you're saying. He seemed to be almost the perfect Pete Carroll safety with the keep it in front of you and make the tackle type guy. Don't get burnt deep, and that's fine. I'm with you. When he was drafted, I was like, oh, cool. He looks like he understands how to use and play the boundary, right? Because he was across from Sauce, which kind of rhymes, and got tons and tons of action in Cincinnati, right? Do I have those things straight? Am I correct about these things?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Just trying to remember if I had the sauce part right. But and then when they try to move him inside, it just never gelled for me. I was like, I don't understand why he would be looking at slot. And for the same things you're saying, same reason, I will say it again, but this is year 4. I think eventually Trey Brown becomes our slot corner. Why? Because he's so darn shifty and he's so elusive in a solid way. The exact opposite traits of like what Kobe Bryant, I think, is that short area quickness. Brandon, we're talking sack.
We are. I don't think of Trey Brown necessarily having that kind of interior sack, though.
He's-
But you know, we'll have
He has
to
more
see. I know
exterior
that you've been.
Yeah.
He has. I feel he has the exterior sack locked down more than the interior. But
I like Trey Brown all ways, but I don't think Kobe Bryant. I don't think he's, my opinion, guys. I think he's got to be on the bubble, Brandon. I'm not sure if you think he's a kind of a bubble boy at this point.
He does seem like a bubble player at this point. Not on the bubble is the Snail, who has been a member for 22 months here on YouTube. Hit that join button if you want to become a member here on YouTube. You get some subscriber-only emotes that you can put in the chat there. And you can get recognized like the Snail is on the screen right now, saying, Devin Richardson, Washington. Did you go to Washington State, Snail? Because I feel like with the Lucas profile pick and hyping up Devin Richardson as our next all-pro linebacker, I feel like I hope we don't have to worry. But yeah, go Cougs. There you tagged it with go Cougs. You're a Coug.
You say that like it was a derisive kind of thing there, Brandon. Like, oh, you're a Coug. All right, fine. Yeah, I mean,
I was just seeing all the picture was becoming clear for me, and I because we haven't really talked about Devin Richardson on the show at all after he signed with the Seahawks back in May, and I feel like the Snail is going to be like, now that the Snail has put it on everybody's radar, we're going to be watching Richardson going into the preseason here.
Well, at the very least, right? At least it's a position where there is some room.
Right.
There's an opportunity where like Halani, who I think Halani's a good running back. At least he looks fast on the blue turf, right? And coming from Boise State, that will be interesting to see. Like, can he get out there and make a jockey with McIntosh, and can he make the team? And what does that mean for McIntosh? That to me is one of the cooler camp battles for sure. But I was surprised Halani opted for Seattle. Now I wonder if it's just proximity and him being kind of out there and like, okay, that's my team and that's close to my, the geo he's already in. It's probably weighed in. But in terms of like your chances to get on the field, sans like crystal ball looking at injuries, there's a pretty stacked running back room that he's got to try and climb above, which is hard. And I look across the NFL and there's some running back rooms that are like, meh, like that guy probably, has a really good shot at starting. So with Richardson, hey, we just got 2 linebackers that have never played a snap for the Seahawks back today for the first time ever. So gotta make sense. So hey, Snail, go Cougs. How about that?
Yes, go Cougs. And he has a lot better shot of making the roster than, say, Ty Scott, who signed with the Seahawks after a workout, who played with the Chiefs last year and then went and played in the UFL or with the, he played with the XFL Defenders, maybe. DC Defenders, UFL.
Didn't they combine this past year?
They combined them, yeah. Maybe they're still using the Twitter handles of XFL, and that's what's throwing me off here.
Could be.
But
this is how I know that I approach training camp and all that stuff a little differently than you guys. I mean, you're talking about dudes that I've put 0 ounces of effort into even thinking about. I look at training camp. They're on our
team. They're our guys.
Yeah, for the moment. Like, all right, cool. Like, once I start hearing some of these guys are making some plays, like Boykin apparently making plays at corner today. That was interesting to hear. But we got a little off of the injury news, Brandon, because we talked about the good news, but there was some news on the injury front that hurt my feelings, Clinton.
Yeah, man. We saw the picture in the Snail's profile there, right? So number 72, Big Abe Lucas, that is, and the right tackle. The Macdonald came out after the practice, and it was like, hey, yeah, great practice, very special, cool, all good coachy things. That's nice, that's good. Congrats on your first real practice. We love it. And they asked him about Abe, and he's like, yeah, not able yet. It's taking longer than expected. That was kind of the vibe and the kind of the words he used. So
His
for
quote
me,
was,
there you
"It's
go. Let's
tough
get the
with
quotes.
Abe." He said it's tough with Abe. The guy works incredibly hard. Like those two things. Like we don't know a whole lot of coach speak yet, but we know people speak. And when you're
Yeah.
saying that's tough and the guy works hard, like that's not sounding like he's ready.
That's like the C student who just doesn't get calculus.
And then
like,
he called him
he really studies, but he just, either way, it's a C plus. Like, I don't get calculus. It doesn't matter how much I study. Yikes. That's some tough. It's a tough way to hear it because it makes it sound, Brandon and Adam, like Brandon saying that he is putting in all the efforts, but Adam, you say all the time, maybe his body's just not, it happens to other players. The body gives out now. Abe's a young man, and we don't want to put the cart before the horse here, Adam, but that's not exactly a great phrase to hear from a coach on day one.
No, and the one that concerned me a little bit more was when they asked him, well, does this concern you at all about his availability for week one? And he tiptoed around that, well, any guy who's injured, like, you never know, and you don't want to think about it or blah, 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 instead of being like, oh, no, I'm pretty sure he'll be back week one. Like, nope, that was not the answer at all. And that had me a little bit worried because at that point, we're looking at a couple of guys who belong in the league, but are just kind of dudes to take over that right tackle spot.
Well, hey, Brandon, are we going to let that George fans and possibly other Seahawks that are on our team slander stand?
I think I will, but you may not want to. I worry about it because, I want the best guys out there. I want Abe Lucas out there. Sure, when you heard the news in the offseason that Fant was coming back, it was like, okay, that's fine. That's good depth. But we thought that maybe they would build through the draft and get somebody on the right side that could also, play tackle spot, but maybe guard. They went solid guard. And it led us to believe that, maybe things with Abe Lucas would be okay. So that's now why it's shifting back to, when I see the news, like Corey Coolman was pointing out in the chat, saying they had McClendon Curtis at right tackle instead of right guard today, then I am worried a little bit.
And McClendon Curtis has been a bit of a OTA / now already first day of training camp, a little bit of a darling, just getting some love, getting some praise. And that's just interesting in itself that there's this little bit of a vibe about, okay, hey, McClendon Curtis might be a real player. So it's either, or maybe both, Abe is legit, it's going to take a while if he ever can really get back to, form, or we're going to have this kind of mashup of Stone Forsythe, George Fant, McClendon Curtis, like competition at right tackle. That feels quite squishy to me, Adam, and very, very just scary. Those are not, I like George Fant. I think he can do a serviceable job out there if he stays healthy, serviceable, but that doesn't feel great.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, a lot of people, they take the idea of the guy being serviceable or he belongs in the league, not a star is like a knock. It's like, no, that's pretty awesome that you can be a guy who legitimately belongs in the league. Like, I think that's saying something, but no, that doesn't give me the warm fuzzies going into this year, considering that we're probably going to throw the ball a little bit more. It'd be nice to have guys there that are a little more equipped in pass protection. So I wonder, guys, does this mean that the potential signing of a Pro Bowl center in Connor Williams is more important than ever?
Brandon, why don't you take that one first, dude?
Yeah. Can he also play? We know he can play left guard because he played left guard with the Cowboys. Can he also play right tackle? Is he that much of flexibility? Does he have that much flexibility position wise? I don't know if that's the case. It sounds like they may be looking at him for the center spot. So maybe things with Oluwatimi, you just want to have depth there. You want to have competition. May the best person win, and that sort of thing. I like the idea of adding depth in Connor Williams, and because he is coming off of an injury, I'm also not super confident that he could be ready to go week one either. Although it did say today he did pass his physical, and he's still in contract negotiations. So nothing imminent, according to Adam Schefter, who is breaking all the Seahawks news. He broke the Julian Love news. He broke the news about Williams being in the building. But it sounds like there may be some other suitors. But I feel like the Seahawks have to be at least a pretty good shot of him landing in Seattle if he's doing his physical in Seattle.
I agree. And I want to give – I'll get Adam. You take it.
Oh, I was just going to say, don't let the man out the door. And what I was saying was not that he'd be flexible enough to get out and play right tackle, just the idea of shoring up the interior, just one less place to worry, have maybe that portion of your team be a little bit more of a strength. And I'm not even sure that this is an indictment on Olu in any way. Like, this guy was ranked 4th and 1st in overall run blocking via PFF, or overall blocking via PFF his last 2 years there in Miami. When you have a chance to bring in that kind of guy, I think you just do it. Or at least, if you can get him to agree. So we'll see how it goes here.
Yeah. And I think for those that are interested too, Dan Viens did a nice job on this today on Seahawks Forever, just to give Dan some love. He does a good job, of course. He talked about a little bit about Connor Williams as well, so I was able to pick up a couple of quick nuggets. And for the folks who don't know him too well yet, right? So 50th overall pick in 2018, so a second rounder. He went to Texas, so just like Byron Murphy, drafted by the Cowboys. Cowboys didn't need a center at that time, so they kind of kicked him out to guard. He was meh at best, kind of middling.
He was good.
And it was okay. He was okay. But he also tore an ACL like 2019 or 2020, and then tore an ACL last year. So second ACL tear, tough, but he's seemingly back. And really his PFF grade, once he got to Miami and he had a couple of years at center, which is his preferred position, it went from like pretty good to quite good to like Pro Bowl level, this, legit center. So I just think that's it, guys. Like I like Olu. I think he's a cool prospect. But Adam, I think like you're saying, dude, if the bird in hand type thing, Olu looks like he can play, certainly did good things at Michigan, 5 years there, won great awards. But even the athletic scores and things of that nature, Williams is kind of off the charts in terms of athleticism. And I think and then he's played for 3 really solid years as a center. So if you put all those things together, I think you have a really good shot of bringing in a late stud that could really bolster things. So Brandon, how do you feel about Olu at this point? Do you feel like, that just makes sense if we can make that swap, or would you rather them, give the young guy the try?
Yeah, I'm not tied to anybody in particular. I just want who is going to be the best player at the position. The thing that worries me a little bit is the injuries when it comes to Williams, because you mentioned he came out in 2018, but he's only played 2 full healthy seasons in that span of his career. So when you see that, then you go, well, you need to have a good backup option. Mm-hmm. And in that case, you may go with a better option, but then Olu may get his chance if he happens to be supplanted by Williams.
Yeah, and sure, that is a nice backup if you are worried about the injury concerns with Williams. But I think as a fan base, I think we can all agree that we'd love to see some stability at the pivot there. I mean, basically when you went from Unger to Britt, ever since then, it's just been a revolving door. And I would really love to see high quality play from the middle of the interior of the offensive line. I think it's the most important position on the line, and you can get a dude like that in free agency this late in the game. Hell yeah.
And seemingly probably pretty cheap too, because coming off the ACL and probably wants a prove it deal, likely wants a 1-year deal. That's like, okay, let me show my worth again. And then he's still a pretty young man. So he's 27. He'd be going to 28 next year. Get 1 year of playing 13, 14, 15 games where you're like an 80 something plus on PFF. And then, then you could go cash in and get that big check that's kind of been eluding him because of injury. So, hey, if that all breaks his way and our way, that sounds pretty cool, especially with that right tackle spot being like, we don't know. We don't know. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm with Shane. Any chance to upgrade the interior offensive line, I'm in for, because I think when it comes down to the offense, I think the point of failure that you're worried about, apart from the new coaching side of things, if you're looking at talent on the field, it's going to be on that offensive line. And yeah, we hope that Abe's going to be back. Ganos is saying that he's going to be all right, already squatting and deadlifting heavy with no brace. And Macdonald did say during the press conference that he's running at full speed. So you have at least those indicators. I can even say indicative, whereas Coach Mike Macdonald not able to get that word out. I had a little laugh at that. Anyway, it's not like I can never say words on the show.
Words are hard sometimes, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, math is hard sometimes. Words are hard sometimes.
Math's hard all the time. See, I just had troubles with words and just the idea of math all at the same time.
Yeah, the word math tripped you up right there.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the math down for our bus trip. We're going to be doing a bus trip to the stadium when we all travel to Foxborough. We're going to be doing a Seahawkers podcast meetup at that week 2 game between the Patriots and the Seahawks at Gillette Stadium. And yeah, Clinton, you got us some bus tickets so we can, because I guess it's not close to get to Foxborough from Boston.
Yeah, it's not too close. It's and there's always traffic. It's kind of a tough in and out of that stadium. So you're talking about even from downtown Boston, you're probably a good hour with, expecting some traffic, and you got to get in, you got to park. So anybody out there that is, whether you're in the Northeast or you plan on traveling for the Seahawks Patriots game, there is a Facebook group called Boston Seahawk fans, that group. And I just happened to find them because I was like, I wonder what kind of meetups might be there, like just Saturday night bar hop and stuff like that. So they're planning a Saturday night out. They've got a charter bus. And it's actually really cool. They're using an app called Rally, which I just found out about today. I never knew it existed, but it's pretty cool. It's basically like a chip in for a bus. So, and it's interesting. It's like, okay, the highest you'll pay is X amount of dollars. And it's like, if we get to capacity, here's what we expect you to pay to get 60 people on that bus. And you just kind of, crowdfund it, which is awesome. So Boston Seahawk fans, anybody on Facebook, check it out. If you're going to be at the game, then you might as well be on the bus we're going to be on, because I think we're going to be podcasting live, probably having a few libations on the way in and out, and getting ready for our Seahawks to win in week 2.
Maybe Ryan Bowen will be joining us too, saying, I am taking my wife to that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe
we got to get the link. Clinton, you have to get the link to Ryan.
Okay.
We got to get the cost down.
Exactly. It's not a pyramid scheme though, guys. This is not a pyramid scheme at all. So just subscribe, and just throw your money in. It's all good. It's all good, guys. We are not making money on this.
Yeah.
If I do this here, I could do this here, right? I mean, theoretically, I could just post right here. So did that do it?
We'll see.
Let's see.
But
Let's see.
I don't know. Hard telling.
There it is. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah. I it's nice. That's how you keep a
like
marriage
a scheme at all.
together. Is you take your wife all the way across the country. Well, I guess he does say all the way from Canada. If he lives, I don't think Ryan is in Eastern Canada though. That would be a lot shorter trip. But yeah, that's the way to do it. Take your wife. Now she's going to be disappointed when her team loses,
right?
But at least you have showed the effort to get her to a game.
It's quite nice.
Do you have the right to be disappointed in any way as a Patriots fan for at least like another 5 years?
No.
Oh, you're real close, Ryan. If you're Toronto, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's coming. He's coming.
We can take a bus to the bus. That's how close he is.
Yeah.
Be nice. Very cool. Well, let's make it happen. So anybody in the Northeast or planning on being there, you got the URL. We're going to be on that bus. I booked the tickets today, and we're going to be downtown Boston, at least Saturday night. Yep. Saturday. And then of course the game on Sunday. So it's gonna be great.
We got that game coming up. We got the Bills game we're planning on going to. So yes, with the season kicking off, we're making our plans already. So any other news that we want to hit on before we get on out of here?
Oh, just that everybody who had the dream of Sam Howell taking over the quarterback position for the Seahawks, that dream began to die today. So that was cool to hear. Geno was on fire pretty much all practice by all accounts. And Sam Howell's had the struggles. So
as long as it's because Geno's on fire, like I want both guys to be good. Like I want Sam Howell to be good, because if something happens to Geno, I want him to be able to come in and still hold it down for a couple of games.
Sure.
Why are you poo-pooing Sam Howell, Adam? Because you want to be right about him stinking?
Well, number one, it's not that I want to be right. It's just that I am. And the thing about it is that with Sam Howell, like I want him to be the best version of Sam Howell, no doubt about it. Like that's all well and good. It's just that his ceiling is never going to surpass where Geno Smith is at this point in his career. It's just not going to happen.
Well, not with that attitude. He's going to be listening to the show. He's going to be
what,
like,
a realistic attitude? Yeah.
These guys don't believe in me. Screw those guys.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to give him the nobody believed in me chip on his shoulder.
How do you know that that's Sam's personality? Maybe he needs to be massaged and uplifted and not talked down to.
Well, I guess he is a millennial.
Yeah, true. Isn't Sam the quarterback that like only eats chicken tenders? Isn't that him?
That's him, right?
Levis I think that's
Levis did the mayonnaise or ate the banana with the thing. I'm pretty sure.
You're just describing all early 20s guys right now. That's all they eat.
Yeah. It's about the only thing I was capable of cooking when I was that age.
Yeah. And they dress like Bryce Young showing up for day one. Did you guys see Bryce Young with the backpack?
Bryce Young.
Oh Lord. So like
was it a JanSport?
It probably was. It probably was a JanSport, and but it's just he just has like a plain red t-shirt on, like a pair of black short sneakers, and he has just a backpack, and he's not a big dude. So if you go out on Twitter or anywhere,
like a kid going to school,
he just like an 8th grader is what he looks like. Unfortunately, like no drip, no riz, no fit. He just looks like his mom said, "Get to school, kid," and it's quite funny. So, but not our dudes, Our dudes are out there looking amazing, looking sharp. Geno loved his outfit. He kind of had the Professor Geno look going again. So the glasses were back on. Love that. So I think this is going to be a very, very fun year. Geno in this offense, push the ball downfield and have outlets to get it out quickly and some design plays to get it out quickly. I don't know. Geno's the type of dude who can make those reads, make the right decision, and you could lean on that. So I'm very excited for the upside here. And Adam, I know we still got some trepidation about what it could be like, and will it fly or flounder? But I am definitely bullish in that Geno is prime for, I think, his best year of the 3 so far.
Well, here it is, guys. I mean, it's first day of training camp. This is the highest the hope train is going to be, I think, all year. Like, this is where it's at. I mean, it is for every team coming into their first day of training camp, right? So, I mean, Ryan Grubb's offense, it'll be fantastic. No doubt about it. I'll eat all the crow. Be happy to do it. And also, we'll be talking about future Hall of Famer Geno Smith by the end of this season, Brandon.
Hey, let's save some of this. We've got our season expectation show coming up here in a couple weeks. We got to hold off some of this, save it for that show. We've got our Know Your Rival 49ers show coming up, and then we got to get into our season expectations.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was just getting out the outlandish hope now, and then have a more balanced approach when we get to our season expectations, so I can try to make a reasonable prediction.
No, you got to flip flop it.
For sure. All the reasons to so tons of content coming up. Training camp just getting going. So we have the flagship coming out. We have floor versus ceiling, as Brandon was alluding to. We got lots of different content. We're going to have some betting shows coming out. Going to do the fantasy show just to talk about where our Seahawks should go and like the players that will be around them. All that in the preseason. And then once basically mid-August hits, guys, and we're into preseason games, well, then guess what? I'm sure we'll have what if. I'm sure we'll have 3 and 3 out. We'll be recapping real games, talking about real plays with real players. And boys, that we are so close to that now. It's been a long but really, really intriguing offseason, boys.
Oh, it's feeling good. I can't wait. I'm enjoying seeing all of the flock here. If some of our members of the flock, they want to help support the show, you can go to getintheflock.com. And yeah, we're going to be doing this more throughout the next few weeks.
You betcha, man. Hooray, football. I'm so glad it's back, Brandon. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Go Hawks.